Oh, there's so many things to think about. So many things to think about, so many things to do. Hello, bonjour, and welcome to DITC Social Live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and as of this evening, blasttheradio.com. I'm so glad to have you joining me this evening. Tonight, we'll be discussing some hot topics, but keeping them light and fluffy, and taking some of your questions. So feel free to comment on whatever platform that you are on, and we will bring you into the conversation. Ce soir, nous discutons de certains sujets, mais en les gardant légers et amusants et en répondant à certaines de vos questions. N'hésitez pas de faire part avec vos commentaires, que ce soit sur la plateforme sur laquelle que vous vous trouvez, et nous vous ferons parvenir et participer à la conversation. Before I get going, I would like to pay respect to the Algonquin people who are the traditional guardians of this land. We acknowledge their long-standing relationship with this territory, which remains unceded. We pay respect to all Indigenous people in this region from all nations across Canada who call Ottawa home. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old, and we honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future. Nous rendons hommage au peuple algonquin, gardien traditionnel de cette terre. Nous reconnaissons le lien sacré de longue date l'unissant à ce territoire qui demeure non cédé. Nous rendons également hommage à tous les peuples autochtones qui habitent à Ottawa, que ce soit de la région ou d'ailleurs au Canada. Nous reconnaissons les gardiens de ces savoirs traditionnels, jeunes et âgés. Nous honorons aussi leurs courageux dirigeants d'hier, d'aujourd'hui et de demain. Now, I want to preface this conversation by stating that this is a safe space and that our conversation today is based on mutual respect, openness, and understanding. So feel free to comment on whatever platform that you are on, and we'll bring you into the conversation. And if you're on the radio, you can check back with us when you're back to social media, and you can comment and be part of the conversation at some point. Je tiens à préciser que nous sommes dans un contexte sécuritaire et que la conversation d'aujourd'hui se doit être imprégnante de le respect mutuel, d'ouverture et de compréhension. Joignez-vous à la conversation en soumettant un commentaire à partir de la plateforme sur laquelle que vous êtes. All right, let's bring on the guests. Amenons les invités. Today's show, we will be talking to an iconic radio host and a community member on addiction and mental health. My first guest is Alan Scott, a community member who is here to discuss what he has been through the past 14 years dealing with mental health, addiction, homelessness, and bulimia. Alan would like to be a voice for those who feel ashamed to share their stories. He feels that mental health and addiction is swept under the rug way too much. This show for him will be all about overcoming obstacles and personal demons, as well as his first television and radio appearance. So, Alan, how are you? Give me 1 second. I'm bringing you on. I got to unmute you. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Andre?
I'm doing very good. We got Melanie Champagne that's saying hello, and Angus thanking us for these conversations. You guys are doing well this evening?
Doing great. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, we're going to have a great conversation this evening. You saw the script. We're good. We're just going to have some fun and have a little bit of a chat. I'm going to bring on the next guest so then we can just have an informal chat and do all the talking. How about that?
Good.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. We also, my second guest is Dave Schellenberg, a longtime radio host from Live 88.5, who has been talking tech on the radio since 1994. Over the years, he has covered the rise of the internet, high-definition televisions, and the evolution of video games. Was that Atari, Dave? Do I even want to ask what that was? His segments cover both technology and the impact of it on economics, politics, and the way we communicate. He'll be here. He's here to talk about the amazing things that he has done to help the community and that we can do to help each other. Hello, Dave. Give me 1 second. Pause one. Grab another mouse. My goodness, how do you guys do this on the radio every day? Good evening.
Once you've done it for long enough, you get very used to where all the buttons are. But it takes a while for the fingers to work. Try doing it at 5:30 in the morning. That's the even harder part.
But it's probably just second nature for you guys, because like you can just close your eyes now and just do it, right?
It's second nature until something goes wrong, because I agree, sometimes the computers don't always work. And then one of the other surprises is sometimes somebody is sick. So, you have a whole plan, something ready to go, and then somebody, when they're trying to get to work, their card stops or they get stuck in a snowbank or something. And you'd like to think, well, in the age of technology, they can just call it in. It's like, well, they can't call it in when they're in a snowbank somewhere. So, you just got to roll with it. And that's the fun of being live.
Yes. Well, I remember when the pandemic just started, one of the radio stations that I was listening to, the host was in his car because his kid had to be tested for COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So like he was broadcasting from his car with his 2 kids in the back, and that was crazy.
It's pretty fun. I mean, I think about the number of places I've broadcasted from. I've done it from Ethiopia. I've done it from Newfoundland. I've done it from all these different corners of the world. And now that the internet and everything gets to be as ubiquitous as it is, it sounds less and less impressive. But it was pretty impressive at the time 10 years ago.
I know, because now everybody can do it. Look.
Yeah, exactly. We're all just at home.
Everybody's a professional now. It's great.
Yes,
wonderful.
I know. It's easier to drink when you do this at home.
We're in somebody else's home, though.
Oh, you don't have internet at your house?
Well, we do, but we came to visit a friend to do it.
He's got better booze.
Well, yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
That's wonderful. So the first question is for Dave. Yes, see, we've got to work on these mouses. Conversation, questions. No, actually, the first question is for Al. Alan, so tell me, what does 14 years mean to you?
14 years means a journey. It means a bunch of chapters written and closed. July of 2006 is when it started. I was isolating. I was self-harming. I was, had suicidal ideations and had no hope in the world. I've been through diagnosis, mental health diagnosis. I've been through drug addiction. I've been through homelessness even though it was for 10 days, it was still quite a ride. I've been through eating disorders. And all of it was alone, and that's my main message is, I don't want somebody else to feel alone through what they're going through.
So without going into entire details, you obviously you didn't have that many people surrounding you, but you did reach out to the LGBTQ National Capital Region group and you're with Dan, who started that, one of the organizers that started that, and then you started meeting a whole bunch of people, which is good.
Yeah.
And this is how we communicated with each other, and I want to thank you right now from the bottom of my heart for opening yourself up. And talking about this. I also had a drug issue many, many years ago that I've never really spoken to publicly. But, I'm going through cancer, so what do I got to lose now, right? So,
I was once told, I said, I'm not proud of drug addiction. And they said, it's nothing to be ashamed of either. And that was the best advice I could have heard. And
there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, like somebody was saying, and there's a lot of drugs that you can get rid of pretty fast, but smoking actually is one of the hardest drugs to get rid of. So that's just the way it is, right? Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, I'm glad that you're here this evening, and I'm thanking you very much for sharing your story, and we're going to learn more about you pretty soon. Dave, your radio station is carbon neutral. What does that mean?
Oh, you can't swear in this one?
Oh, yeah, of course you can.
Oh, okay, because we can swear on the radio, so I'm amazed you can't swear on the internet or whatever.
My nieces watch the show. And
I
swearing, that's why. No.
Yeah, that's a good point. My nieces and nephews could be watching this too, so I better be good. Well, carbon neutral is a choice that we made as a radio station several years ago. So we do it by planting trees. We've partnered with the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, and there's many different ways to be carbon neutral. You can certainly just be aware of it and make sure that you're, not a jerk in the way that you use the environment. But what we deliberately do is plant trees. So there is, just outside of Munster, a farmer who had some land, and that particular farmer found that it was land that was cleared once upon a time, because this area that we are all in is actually supposed to be full of forests. We have cleared this land over the past couple hundred years, and we have built cities, and we have put cows and stuff that isn't necessarily supposed to be there. It's supposed to be trees. We're supposed to be in the middle of the forest. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. This particular farmer had cleared land and tried to turn it into a farmer's field. It didn't work. The soil wasn't right, so they donated it back to the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. The only reason I'm telling all that story is to plug the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, because they're absolutely remarkable. And sometimes people aren't even aware that if you have land that for whatever reason you can't do anything with, they will come and manage the land and help you with it. So what we have done is funded the planting of trees. And the last I heard, it was something like 40,000 trees that we have planted, not on this bit of land, but in other bits of land. And it is the contribution that we take back. So it is money that comes out of our operating budget. I mean, we live based on advertising. This is not government grants. This is stuff that we literally take out of the profits that come to the corporation and put it into planting trees. And we do it because it's important.
Yeah, well, that's great. And kudos. I mean, that's wonderful. I know those, like the groups that get all those Christmas trees, they keep planting and planting trees, but they're actually planting on a lot specifically for Christmas trees, right?
Right, exactly. And the trees that we plant through the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority are a mix of trees that are the trees that are supposed to have been there. So they're not just sort of, seeds that you bought at Canadian Tire kind of thing, but it's trying to put the land back to where it was, admittedly, because they couldn't do anything else with it. So let's, instead of trying to pretend that this is good for something else, let's admit the fact that this is better as trees, the way that the soil is, the way that the water works on it and pools and all the rest of it. Just leave it as a forest. So that's what we're helping to fund.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm in Findlay Creek, so it's all swamp here. Well, not all swamp, but a lot of it.
Yes.
And we went not far from here to Plage de Belle-Mer, I think it is called. Or, anyways, it's another place that you can walk around, and apparently the glacier used to be there and it melted, and but it was really nice. There are some beautiful places around Ottawa, and now that we're in lockdown again, get out and walk.
I know, right? And the mosquitoes are gone. If you're in Findlay Creek, I'm assuming you had mosquitoes all summer long.
No, not really. Well,
really? What?
I mean, we knew the lockdown was happening, so we like pimped out our backyard because we knew we were going to spend time there. But we had one of those umbrellas, and we had a little netting around it with rocks at the bottom. So yeah, we sat outside every day.
Yeah, it's like you've been here for generations.
Yeah, but it's only been a year. We moved here on Halloween a year ago. Not this Halloween, the year before. So
good.
Alan, you said you had wanted to speak up for mental health. So now's your chance. What would you like to tell the folks?
Don't be ashamed to reach out. Because a lot of people feel like they can't talk about it because it's so stigmatized, even to this day. I wish that I would have reached out and sooner than I did. Maybe I would have had a different response for support, but I have to look back and think that, even though I did it alone, I still made it. And, when I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. And I've lived by that. Yep.
I can attest to that. And there's a youth organization here in Ottawa, Jeunesse Idem, that I raised over $17,000, I think, for them in 2 or 3 years, whatever it was, doing drag shows. And the reason why I advocated for them so much is that if that resource would have been there when I was a kid, I wouldn't have been the little salope, as they call in French, when I was younger. I wouldn't have had to go to the bars to talk and meet people. I would have had that youth organization that I could have spoken to people like myself, So, and the distress center too. Like John Milkey was very passionate about that with his burger. And we kept going to No Forks Given because the burger was great. And then they kept donating to the distress center. So everybody in lockdown is all going through it too. You must have found it quite difficult for that as well. On top of all that.
Yeah. I just want people to know that there are people out there to listen to you, to give advice, just to lean on for support or whatever. And if anybody needs it, there's people like me that are here.
Yep, for sure. Well, I've got the distress number on the screen. So 613-238-3311. Or you can hit me up on diversityinthecapital.tv anytime. Send us a message or send me a message on Facebook, Andre Prue M, and I'll talk with you. If I've got time, I will make time to talk with anybody who wants to talk. We've lost way too many community members in the last year. I believe we lost 2 to suicide. And loneliness, was there 3? No, there's 3 of them.
I was thinking at least, if I personally know of 2, then I assume there is more that I don't know about.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Dave, you have anything to say on the distress center, or what's the...
Yeah, it's a big problem. I mean, and I totally agree that so much times people need somebody to talk to. And one of the things, I don't know what the right word is, but when you work at a radio station, one of the things that we start to realize over the years is the best thing we can be is consistent. Yeah. That people expect us to be there at the exact same time, having a little bit of fun. And if your day isn't going well, if my day isn't going well, at least for that little bit of time when you turn on the radio or the internet or the TV, wherever your friends are, that there is remarkable consistency there. And one of the toughest things that we ever find in our jobs is to put aside some of the problems that we are going through and admit at least for this little period of time, we will not have to worry about that. We will worry about something else. And it's an act, quite frankly, sometimes, because there is other things going on. Sometimes it's also a remarkable release. It's an excuse. I remember years ago, a friend of mine whose mom was going through a serious situation. She went to work specifically for the purpose that there was nothing she could do to help her mom. So she went to work to drown herself in work, so at least she had a couple of hours just break out of her head. And the worst frustration she had was when people would come up to her and ask her how her mom is. So she would have to tell us, please, I am here because there's nothing I can do, and I just want to go to work, and I want to spend a couple of hours not thinking about that. I want to drown myself in work and be there. So I fully know that feeling with us on the radio as well. It's like, for me, it's a wonderful excuse that I am going to go for work, and for the next 3.5 hours, I'm going to find silly stories and talk about things, and I will reconnect with the problems that I have as well in a couple of hours. But it's also like watching a movie. There's been some wonderful studies about as we go into this lockdown that you too have the permission to put on a favorite TV show and a favorite movie and disappear into that entertainment for 2 hours and enjoy it. Don't feel embarrassed to embrace the gifts that your artistic friends are trying to give you.
Yeah, to just escape, right?
Yes, blast the music too. Like, crank it, enjoy it.
Blast the radio.
Blast the radio. Yes, it's a wonderful dance around your living room. Like, it's a wonderful break.
That was it.
Well, no.
What would we say? Blast.
We're gonna burn the floor.
What's that?
We're gonna burn the floor with Drake.
We're also gonna burn the floor a little later on too. But yeah, but if I say blast the radio, I'm gonna have to take a sip. It's my inauguration today.
Oh dear.
And we will
I hope
he's a little bit of the U.S. of what's going on there later on, because Dave was telling us a few things later that we're going to hear. We do not want to be bombarded with comments about what's going on there. We understand. This show is all about forgetting about what's going on in reality and bringing you what the community has to say. So we will be bringing in what the community has to say about that too, but a little later on. So we got a comment from Chrissy. I think it's important for anyone who needs help. They need to know that it's okay. It's safe. There's always someone who will listen day or night. It's okay to reach out.
Thanks, Christy.
Thanks, Christy.
Thank you, Chrissy. Chrissy is a huge follower and watcher of Blast the Radio. So welcome, my dear, and welcome Jeffrey Mayer, who is going to be working on my website. Woo! getting it a conversation tomorrow about a brand new website, and we got some swag coming. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, so Dave, you missed my favorite things show a few weeks ago with Eva Avila, and I saw your post about a few of your favorite things, as well as the trinkets you get to discuss each and every day on your show. Is there anything that you want to tell the community, a must-have item?
For favorite things?
Yeah.
What did I post? Was it whiskers on kittens and?
No, I think it was a whole bunch of picture of all alcohol, and I was like, "Ooh!"
Oh, booze.
Yeah,
yes, booze.
You had posted favorite things. I was like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to remember the lyrics to that song. I'm sure they're pretty, whatever they are, but I never get past whiskers on kittens.
Yeah, I'm a horrible gay. You can take my card back. I don't even know. I know the chorus. That's it. These are a few of my favorite things.
Yes, very nicely done. Yes, I do like to drink. I fully admit that. And so my challenge, I know a lot of people at this time of year go off on some 2-month-long binge where they just don't drink or whatever.
Yeah,
yes. Congratulations. We're all very proud of you. Yeah. So cheers to you.
We will drink for you all.
Yes.
And
my challenge is to not buy booze, because at the start of the lockdown, I honestly thought that we were going to get the LCBO like closed. Yeah. And you know, Quebec's going into another lockdown thing. So every now and then I just sort of worry that, oh no, I'm not going to be able to buy booze. So I've been going out and stocking up. And I also stocked up with the anticipation that, you know, maybe through the holidays and watching the junior hockey games or whatever, some friends would come over, and then we went to this lockdown. So I bought booze worrying I wasn't going to be able to buy booze, but I bought extra booze anticipating people are going to come over and hang out, and then none of that happened. So
how many times have you been back out to replenish it?
Well, that's my problem, is I have way too much. And that was the picture that I put on your website about my favorite things. And the other thing I discovered, so the LCBO has this deal where you can like order things ahead of time, and then you go to the store to pick it up. Well, as it turns out, if you order something ahead of time, it sits in your cart. And if you decide to do the pickup and don't take it out of your cart, it is still in there. So I actually double ordered a bunch of booze that I didn't know I had doubled ordered. Okay. And because when I happened to go to the LCBO to pick it up, I was like grocery shopping and my head was doing other things. And I remember the dude at the LCBO like putting an awful lot of boxes in my car. And I was thinking, that's really weird, but you know, whatever. Maybe they're all like really elaborately packed. And there's lots of padding so they don't break while I'm driving all the way back home.
Making the because your credit card went through.
Yes. So then I got home and I took it all out. And at first I thought I won the LCBO lottery because I had all these extra bottles. And it's like, oh, the buddy at the LCBO, like he clearly hates his job and loves me. So he gave me some extra booze. And then when I actually studied my credit card, I'm like, no, I double bought. And then I realized what I had done. So anyways, all to say, my goal is to not buy booze because I have an awful lot of it and I just got to drink it all. And I'd invite you over, but, you know, it's a lockdown and you can't.
I know. Yeah.
Uber Eats.
Yeah, you can actually do that now for alcohol too as well, right?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like I live downtown Somerset and Elgin. And one of the great excuses to stand up and go for a walk sometimes is to go to one of the little restaurants along Elgin and pick something up. So back in the summer when they started doing the takeout booze, it was really, you know, you had to get a drink for the walk back home. Yeah.
I just never been able to do that in the U.S. In Vegas, and that's the only time I've ever been able to drink on the streets. Well, that's not true. We've had a few things at Finley Creek that we've had a drink in the
party. Haven't you ever heard of a red Solo cup?
Yeah, of course I have.
Well,
we just do cans though. It doesn't really matter. We're in our own. We did a dinner outside. So last summer we all ate supper or dinner in our driveways. So I played some music off some speakers, and all the neighbor on the street came out, and at 6 o'clock everybody ate their supper, and then we chatted and mingled on the street. But yeah, it was fun.
Are you in one of the parts of Finley Creek that doesn't really show up on Google Maps yet?
Well, not on my Jeep, but on my phone, yes, it does.
It does?
Yeah.
Because I had a buddy who lives there too, and it was getting to his place was the most frustrating thing because Google didn't know where he was. The house was so new.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm right behind W.O. Stinson and Son
Oh, you're there.
gas stations, and I'm right behind, like down there. So
Which one do you go to? The one on the left or the one on the right?
depends on which way I'm driving.
Smart.
Well, we
Go both
normally go
ways.
to Hunt Club because it's cheaper on Hunt Club. No.
Right.
But we haven't been driving, so I mean, it doesn't really matter. I've been saving gas. Got a brand new car and I can't go anywhere. That's funny. So you don't have like a must-have item?
Oh, yeah, I forgot what your question was.
I squirrel all the time.
A must-have item? I don't think so. No. So if anything, I'm trying to get rid of stuff. Like I always have this feeling there's too much stuff in my life as it is. I have too many things, and I just doing whatever I can to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything that sort of follows me around. I've got a couple of things that actually it's sitting on this couch over here. This blue blanket there that my grandmother knit for me.
Yeah.
No, these are things.
Can't get rid of that.
No, the Hudson Bay blanket I got on sale. That's whatever.
They went bankrupt, didn't they?
No, they're back.
It might be worth more money. It's going to close soon. You never know. Oh dear. All right. Al, we'll do one more and then we'll play our few little commercials that we got there. Alan, as we are now besties on Facebook, I keep seeing you post about some of your possessions, your passions. Well, so your possessions are your passions too. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. Through the journey of addiction, I found photography.
Okay.
I started up. I didn't really dive into it at first professionally, but now it'll be 2 years this summer that I've been diving into it. And coming into Ottawa is the reason why I dove into it as hard as I did, because it's beautiful here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have my business now called Over the Rainbow Imagery, where I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I don't have a website yet, but that's coming.
Jeffrey?
Jeffrey.
We already have.
But, no, I have been noticed. I think I have different exhibitions that have happened and are coming up. My first one was in Scotland. There's my card.
Oh, very nice.
My first exhibition was in Scotland, and then I had one in Montreal. I have one in Berlin coming up, and I just got notified that I have one in Athens, Greece coming up too.
Wow.
Wow, that's congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. He does wonderful work. I'm his assistant. I stand there, I look for other shots, and I stand pretty.
It's an important part of it.
Yeah.
The cameraman always needs an assistant. I mean,
yes. What kind of picture? Now I'm curious. What kind of pictures do you take?
It started out with wildlife and nature, and I really liked getting into macro photography. Long exposure is one of my favorites too. But yeah, I kind of drove away from the wildlife and nature and kind of got into like long exposure and macro and landscape.
How many long exposures do you have to do before you get a good one?
I've actually been, before I moved here, I went out one day and I took 500 photos.
wow.
Yeah.
And how many were good?
About 50.
Yes, I know, right?
It's wonderful work. It's funny what you see, and then you see it in a picture. It's a whole different thing. From what you see live.
Focal length, depth of field, like the true theories of how it works are fascinating.
Mm.
And I taught myself everything about it. So, it's been a nice distraction, for lack of a better term.
So if anybody needs photographers,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I've been saying this for like Diversity in the Capital has been on for 2 years now, and I've been trying to get the community to tell me their stories or to sell themselves or to promote themselves. And I've been doing this for free for 2 years. I don't charge anybody. Like at first we were doing this. We'll film your first commercial, and then if you want anything else, then you'll have to give us a little bit of cash to do it. And it worked for several venues. And then all of a sudden the COVID happened, and then, well, nobody wants to do it. And then all of a sudden they've got their own social media people popping up doing exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great that each place has their own little, and I'm not nominated for Faces magazine, but it's what I do. I'm doing it because I can, A, and B, because, well, like we were talking earlier, and I was going through cancer and chemo, and I was going crazy, and people are like, "You're still working?" And I'm like, I would hurt someone if I didn't, because I would go nuts just being at home doing nothing. I can't do it. I have to stay busy. I'm a Gemini too, so I can't. My ex-husband used to call me mosquito because I never stop. Never stop. Unless I have too much of one of those jelly jujube candies there.
Or you have to take a commercial.
Or we have to do a commercial, yeah. Which we will in a bit. But Dave, over the years, you have covered the rise of the internet, high definition televisions, and the evolution of video games. Your segments cover both technology and the impact on the economics, politics, and the way we communicate. Any suggestions?
Well, Consumer Electronics Show is next week. I mean, if you want to work down the list of things to think about. So that's going to be one of the fun things, right? Where new devices come out that we've never seen before in technology. And already Samsung is releasing a bunch of stuff. They've released a remote control, which is pretty cool. Like, the show isn't until next week, but their new remote control, this isn't it. This is just a crappy one.
I was going to say, do you know?
Yeah. How did you get that? Yeah, no. I do local auto radio. I get nothing. But anyways, yeah, their new remote control, like on the bottom of it is a solar panel. And the idea is it now recharges itself as it just sort of sits there and will last years and years and years, right? And it's
does it recharge from the screen? Like
the light, or the light in the room, or the sun?
Just the light in the room, yeah. And you always sort of love when those little innovations come along that just seem so simple. It's like, why has nobody done this before? Yeah. And so on the technology side, I mean, it's always the look for that sort of stuff. Yeah, you were talking earlier about the Atari 2600, which, yes, I did have an Atari 2600.
I did too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, we sat there and played Pac-Man for hours.
I had a Betamax once upon a time.
Oh, my.
But that's a little bit. Now we're all going to age ourselves. Like when you watch the people who have never used a record player, and you go to a buddy's house and they have a record player, and you'll say to some like 27-year-old, "Can you put on a record?" And they just their eyes just sort of freeze. Like, what do you mean put on a record? Like, I might break it. And you say to them, well, that's part of the reality of a record. Is you might break it. I might break it, and then it's broken. Yeah. Yes. So be very careful and learn how to do it.
My first vinyl was Bay City Rollers.
Oh, my.
Bay City Rollers.
Mine was My Ding-a-Ling. My grandmother gave it to me.
Oh, geez.
Oh, really?
Want you to play with my ding-a-ling? It was on repeat in the basement. Funny. Nobody knew, eh?
No. Oh, I think your grandma knew.
I think she did.
Yes. I think one of the things that it was, we all get older and we think that older generations didn't know. It's like, yeah.
Julie was saying that now they have the folding screens, which I actually just saw the commercial for yesterday, the Samsungs, where they're like the flip phones, but it's all a full screen when it's opened up.
Well, yeah, now that we're into this big discussion of which way do we want them to do? Do we want them to be like a book where there's nothing on the outside and you open it up and it's one big screen? Or do we want it the other way where you sort of open it so there's a screen on the outside, but then you fold it backwards and then it's one big screen? And it's an interesting discussion about which is the better technology and which way will it go. And you just have these moments in history, right, where 15 years from now, at the moment, everybody has a smartphone. Well, 15 years from now, we could all have a foldy phone. But at this era of when they first come out, they're ridiculously expensive and clunky and almost nobody has them. And everybody dumps on somebody who does have them because they're ridiculously expensive and clunky. Yeah. But you just know that this is another one of these things that's going to be the future eventually. It's
going to be the fad. Like, we've been watching Brave New World. And there's a lot of people. I've been listening to Lowell Green, so I'm going to try not to get angry. But there's a lot of like the anti-vaxxers, and I'm like, if you told people that everybody had to have an implant to get rid of mobile devices, that you will just blink your eyes and you can have a phone conversation, everybody would do it.
Yep.
Right away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, who would have thought that? We now all carry these little things around with us everywhere we go. They're the first thing we touch in the morning and the last thing we touch at night.
Yeah.
Dirty, I know.
For the ones with the big long antennas, it's like, ooh, that guy's got a lot of money when you'd see one of those.
Oh yeah, used to be the bigger ones were the more impressive ones.
Yeah, but then they'd get into a really big truck, and it's like, what are you making up for? I'm kidding. I'm not a size queen, but Dave did take out his big microphone today. So what's
Yes.
that, Alan?
I said we should call this the Andre Comedy Show.
Well, that's what's. We're just being social, right? We're just being social. All right, we're gonna play a couple of little commercials. This is the part of the show where I'm going to try and promote you, the community, and because we're on the radio, it's going to be video and sound because we want to try and promote as much of you and as many of you as possible. So my first one is Get to Know Point TV, who is the main reason why diversitycapital.tv is here. Many years ago, I was at Le Petit Chicago where I was doing my soirée drag, and I was asked to interview the owner of Le Petit Chicago from Get to Know Point TV, and he liked what I did in the interview and offered me the Diversity Capital, and I couldn't refuse it, and I needed something to do. So without further ado, here's a little intro for Get to Know Point TV, and we got a little hi, how are you from Theo Tams.
Gatineau.tv est partout en Outaouais, autant au niveau de la culture, de l'événementiel, mais aussi au niveau de vos entreprises. Si vous avez un projet spécial que vous aimeriez promouvoir, un événement que vous avez créé, eh bien, n'hésitez pas à parler avec un de nos représentants à Gatineau.tv. Vous pouvez nous écrire via notre adresse info@commercialgatineau.tv. Vous aussi, prenez avantage de Gatineau.tv.
Gatineau.tv.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Theo Tams and you are watching DiversityInTheCapital.tv.
Oh, well, all right. And we also have the one and only Drake Jensen, who 71.9% of the vote. Burn the Floor makes LGBTQ2+ history, winner of the 2020 Country Queer Video of the Year. Congratulations to all of you. Drake Jensen featuring Rob Bruce, Burn the Floor. Congratulations to Drake Jensen and his team and all the sexy Burn the Floors. He has been a huge community supporter, and he is awesome. So thank you so much, Drake. Congratulations on all of that. Well, so we are back to taking more questions and more chat. Bring you all in. Oh yeah, Christy was reminding us of the satellite phones. So those are the ones we were talking about with the big antenna. Thank you,
Yes.
Christy. I think Christy must have been there around that time too.
Expensive to use.
Yeah. I mean, my nieces now talk about a tablet, and I'm like, do you have to shake it when you're done to do another picture? Or they're like, no, Uncle Andy.
What was it called?
Etch-a-Sketch.
Extra
It's a
sketch.
sketch. Yeah.
See, he knows.
And to this day, I will still say my sister had the Easy Bake Oven. It was not me.
Oh, yeah.
What I find now is resisting the urge to reach out and like touch every single screen, because you like only certain things are touch screens, not everything. And I know younger generations just assume everything is a touch screen. Well, Sometimes you just get so used to touching. It's like, why can't I just swipe and move this out of the way?
Because touchscreen only happened about what, maybe 7 years ago?
Yeah.
8 years ago, maybe 10, not that long. So I remember the first day where I went from touchscreen to a regular computer, and I'm touching a regular computer, and I'm like, why isn't it doing anything?
Yeah.
Realizing that it wasn't a touchscreen.
Yeah, well, I remember first time it was probably early 90s. I think I first saw them, but they were super expensive and clunky and slow. And now they're just like, you expect every screen to be able to touch and move stuff around on.
Yeah. And
Ask for permission first.
All right. We did the commercial. So now we're back to both of you. This is a question for both of you. So now we're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to bring in some hot topics, but we're keeping them light and fluffy. So what have you been doing lately to keep you smiling?
Who's first?
Alex?
Just really focusing on myself and my new job, my photography, and my relationship.
Who dat?
Which is a new relationship?
Who dat?
Who are you dating?
They are. They met. They met on the LGBTQ National Capital Region Facebook group, and they hit it off. So congratulations. I guess there is some love coming out of this.
There's lots of love.
Two less people on Grindr or on whatever those apps are. Or...
Not from those. No. In fact, they're deleted now.
That's good.
Yes, because we believe in monogamy.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Well, and considering that we're all locked down, it's pretty much we don't have a choice right now, right?
No, exactly.
So,
but we're enjoying this. It's great. We found love. We found each other. And
love in a hopeless place. Ottawa is not hopeless, seriously.
Sorry, Mrs. Horizon is sleeping right now.
Jeffrey's saying Grindr misses you, Dan. So I guess you must have been very active on there, I'm sure. Social butterfly.
No.
No, I love a one-word answer.
So Dave, what have you been doing to keep yourself? I mean, I know you're working a lot, and you were talking earlier that so you are part of the Democratic.
Well, yeah. So there's well, first of all, when all the lockdowns happened, like, you know, who knew if you worked in radio, you still had to go to work? Because I honestly sort of thought it's like, oh, great, we'll just put the radio station on, you know, the endless chili pepper mix, and we'll be good. And then as it turns out, like, oh no, media, you're actually supposed to go to work and you're supposed to keep on doing the show. So for me going through all this, it's been very much most of the regular grind. The problem is I'm single at the moment, and I had just moved downtown in January with the anticipation of the summer's going to come along. It's going to be great to be downtown because I'll be in the middle of all the wonderful festivals and patios and everything that we love about downtown Ottawa. And then none of that happened.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it has not been a terribly good year either, just because it has been so quiet and so much time at home through Christmas and New Year's. Normally I would go back to visit my family in Winnipeg, and we've got a family cottage north of the city that spent a lot of time in. Couldn't do any of that. So I basically sat and watched TV from Christmas to New Year's. And on one hand, you know, you sort of get caught up on the movies that everybody else in the world has seen but you. And there was lots of other things happening between Christmas and New Year's, but this past little bit has been really quite frustrating. And I understand how people say, you know, sometimes when you go through floods and fires and tremendous moments in your life, you just feel numb after a while. Yeah. And I think that's very much the feeling that I've started to get as well. Like, you lose track of what day this is and what's on and what's happening. And that sense of, wow, I've just been sitting on the couch for 8 hours. I suppose I should. And then that's really as far as you ever get.
And then you squirrel. So that's why.
Yeah. And then you sort of turn around and do it all again the next day. So I have not enjoyed 2020. I struggle a lot of the time to try to get through this. And I always have faith in the future that I think things will get better. And as I see stuff happening, like I know that this will have an end. And that is a lot of what keeps me going.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm the same way too. Like, okay, so I work for cousin Justin during the day, but even though I was working from home, I was still going crazy too because my partner worked at Rideau Center for some red and white bus company.
Yeah.
And now they closed. So now for 5 months, I was here by myself every day. You know, he would go to work, he would do his thing, he would be out in the public, and I would get angry or, you know, leave my desk or something and talk to two black and white tuxedo cats who just meow at me and want to be given treats and stuff. And then I go back to my desk. So I was going crazy too because I wasn't getting out. I wasn't going to do anything. You know, he would come home and want to just chill and do nothing. And I'm like, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's go do something. And it's like, what?
Oh, and it's the littlest things you miss doing as well. Like I was so happy through the summer. Like Tees is just up the street from me. Like when they had those couple of nights where they blocked off the street and brought some tables out into the middle of it. And it was some beautiful July nights, and you just felt perfectly safe and wonderful to be out there in the great outdoors, and you didn't have much to worry about. Like it was a wonderful experience, and then winter hit. Great. So now even the little things that we were enjoying through the summer are gone. So this is going to be a pretty dark period, I think, for the next couple of months until spring comes around.
And it's going to be like that for everybody. I know because we met at the Dragon Balls baseball game 2 years ago where you and I provided the sound, and I was looking forward to it last year, but we didn't get to do it because of COVID.
I know. I had an outfit all picked out.
Well, they hadn't picked the scene, but I'm sure you
okay, no, that's a lie. I agree. But yeah, so you had mentioned, so one of my little quirks in life is I was born in the United States, and so I'm a dual Canadian U.S. citizen. And it's been, in everything else going on, the U.S. going through the election that they have been going through has been quite the thing to watch. And I'm a Democrat, mainly because I just can't stand Donald Trump in any way whatsoever. And you sort of sometimes have this feeling of, if you can do something, then you should do something, which is the way that I felt about Donald Trump. It's like, I can't just sit here and watch this. I have to get involved. So got involved in the Democrats. And today, like for the past couple of hours, if there is anything that has dealt with anxiety and make it even more realistic is when you see what is happening in Washington, D.C. And I've been to Washington, D.C. It's a beautiful city. I was down there for the Women's March, the big Women's March a couple of years ago. Like, I love a good protest. Black Lives Matter, when we had that in Ottawa, I was at that. Like, I fully endorse people's beliefs to get out and be passionate for what you believe in. Even if I disagree with you, you have a right to have your opinion. And it is so super frustrating when you look at these things that are happening. And the fact that Trump is clearly inciting it and encouraging it and wanting people to go out, and it just makes no sense. And like, just since we started this, it's been fascinating that Twitter and Facebook, like Twitter has now locked Donald Trump out of Twitter. Based on a video that he posted a couple of hours where he said twice that he loves the protesters for getting out and doing what they're doing, but they should go home. It's like, no, you're not allowed to say that you love them.
No. And
Twitter has locked him out, which is fascinating. And then at 8:00 tonight, we're waiting to see. It looks like Congress is going to come back to the United States. They're going to try to pass the things that they passed earlier. There's at the moment, a lockdown there is in D.C., so everybody's supposed to go home. So that really makes you worry about what's going to happen in the next couple of hours as police and the National Guard get organized, and like, are they going to go through and do something to send the protesters home? And that's not going to be good either.
Well, I mean, CNN will be very popular in the next little while. So, I mean, everybody's going to be watching that. The entire world is actually watching it. And I actually heard that they're talking of trying to get Mike Pence to remove his power for the next 2 weeks because he might just continue. And they said that he might even do a coup. So
not Mike Pence. No, that was part of the story today. Not Mike Pence.
They're trying to get the vice president to put an action to remove the president.
Yes. Isn't that fascinating? Mike Pence, he grew a pair. Like, after 4 years, who would have thought, like, that of anybody who would come out in the middle of all this and suddenly decide that, no, there actually is a rule of law that we have all agreed to. There is a democracy that we all believe in. And guess what, boss? You can't follow it.
Yeah.
What a weird day.
I know. It's, It's been a crazy day. I couldn't believe when I saw that because I'm working in my room, and I don't have Facebook on all the time. It was a very busy day for my job, but every once in a while, and then I saw it and I was like, what the? So yeah, it's crazy.
Even Ted Cruz has come out and said, like, this has to end. Like, Ted Cruz? He's even weirder than Mike Pence.
Yeah, and they were booing Mitt Romney or something on a jet or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
There's just so much. You never know. On a happy note, so Alan, I'm going to ask you first. What's your favorite feel-good song for 2021? Do you have one?
Waiting for Superman by Daughtry.
Waiting for Superman by who?
Daughtry.
Daughtry. Oh, yeah. He was in The Masked Singer. I knew it was him, too.
Yeah, he was. That was the first season, right?
First season, yes, I think he was.
He sang someone you love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, was he the turtle? I can't remember, but I remember him being on The Masked Singer, which was really good.
He was the Rottweiler.
The Rottweiler, that's it, yes. But I could tell, I could hear the voice, and I knew instantly. And it's funny because I thought Popcorn was Tina Turner. I was convinced that was Tina Turner, and then it ended up being Taylor Dayne.
Wow.
Which I was like, oh, yeah, I could see that voice now because I grew up with her and Samantha Fox and a whole bunch of others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, what's your favorite feel-good song of 2021?
2021?
Yeah.
Jeez. It's only 6 days into 2021.
What's your for 2021?
Well, the song that I've really been enjoying lately is something called Zen, and it's a song by ex-ambassadors K-Flay and a grandson. And it's funny because in many ways it summarizes what we expect. And you talked about it, like you want CNN, you want this intravenous drips of news, right? And then you need meditation apps to calm you down. And it's a wonderful song about how complicated it is at the moment. Like, well, which one do you want? Do you want the endless connection, or do you want like cat pictures? Because apparently that's really what you need after all. Mm-hmm. And the song has a fair amount of profanity in it, which also makes it fun to like scream at the top of your lungs. And the version of it that we play on the radio, I mean, it's cleverly edited, but you know what the words are quite clearly. And it's for me exactly what 2020 felt like, where we want all this stuff. We want this endless feed of information. We want video games and we want movies. And then we turn around and we decide like, well, no, you have to be having some kombucha and yoga and your little vegan something or other. Like, which one do you want?
Yeah. Yeah. Acting like a Gemini, not sure two-faced or what we want or who do you want to talk to? Dr. Jekyll or Hyde?
Yep.
I've got those two.
Yep, exactly.
I've got those too. Well, all right. I'm going to switch my camera mic now because it is time to go back to my teleprompter. Well, thank you both very much for being here. It is, we got 5 minutes left. I got a few things to close off with. And we got a video to play of the one and only Dairy Queen. So here we are. Final thoughts. So please support local LGBTQ2+ businesses. Most are all online, so please support your local commerce by going to their site and buying something to give that special someone for the next official holiday for all the romantic folks out there that you can spice up your life. Or only you can do that. You know that. All right. Thank you all for being here live with me from Findlay Creek and from your homes. I wish you all lots of love and goodness during this time and look forward to seeing what you, Alan, and David have going on through social media. Share your stories with me, Ottawa Gatineau, and you might be able to see it here on a Wednesday night. If you'd like to be a guest, send us a message. Next week, I have Lillian Carrière from Angelic Empowerment, who is a psychic medium, angel card reader that will be here to talk to us. And I'm going to pause my teleprompter because we're going to be doing a contest next week. So Saturday is when we're going to post that event. Start sharing it and liking it because we're going to pick 3 of you to come on the show next week and talk with her and have a tarot card reading for free. A quick little tarot card reading, so you'll get to see what Lillian does. She's amazing. I had my cards read from her many years ago, and she was pretty spot on a lot of the things that she said to me. So I highly suggest it. And if there's anybody else out there, Tell me your stories. Please go to blasttheradio.com and listen to the one and only Milkman every morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Jesse and Jenna's Messy Podcast. I am so happy to be launching on that station tonight. And if you have not listened to BTR, John the Milkman, Milky has a boogie break every morning at 10:30 a.m. to get your blood flowing. In honor of my debut on BTR, when I had my community day in August for Ottawa Pride, as we went virtual for Pride Week this year, I took the community submissions and I asked John if he would like to bring out a character of his. It was early COVID, so I wore a mask, I put his face on, and then we went into my garage. I had my entire garage set up for this number that you are about to see, and that's when Miss Dairy Queen was born. I am not sure who her mama is, but I certainly know that I've created this treasure that you are about to see on social media. If you're on BTR, you are going to get to hear the one and only Gwen Stefani singing I'm Just a Girl. But happy 6th birthday, BTR, blasttheradio.com. I'm supposed to take 2 sips, but I'm empty. I took one anyways. And I'm happy to be part of this family, and I thank you all so much. Thank you, Alan and David. Please stick around after this video, and I will give you a virtual hug goodbye. Give me 1 sec. So here, and I gotta do this. So many things to do. Dave, you guys have like producers and everybody that does this for you guys, right?
No.
You don't?
No, it's
You have to do it all yourself now?
we do it all ourselves. Now, I think in the world of commercial radio, that's pretty much all the way it works.
Wow. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here she is, Miss Dairy Queen. All right. So apparently my computer decided to restart. So that's fine because this is my show. I can start it over. I can do what I want. I can do what I want. Bye, Julie. See ya. Have a nice day. Share audio again and see if this problem fixes. Because, well, we're at the mercy of technology, right? So here we go. Once again, Dairy Queen. Wow. Well,
who was that way at the end there?
what's that?
Oh, there was a face that stuck out there. Yeah.
That's me. So I'm wearing
there you are.
It's my BTR. Well, it's the BTR. I'm not the masked singer mask. Which I'm not.
Well, that was lovely.
Yes. Well, thank you both so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Like I said, next week is going to be Lillian Carrière. And then the week after, I've got a community member who's currently going through change from drag queen to a lady. So she's going to be here in a couple of weeks to talk to us about her journey. So I wish you all a very good night. Do not stay up too late watching CNN, please. And we will see you all here next week. Dave, we'll hear you on the radio soon.
Yeah, like 4 hours.
Yeah, in 4 hours. Well, you better get to bed.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you very soon here on diversitycapital.tv.